Hey guys, how you doing? In this video, we're going to compare renting a place versus buying a place. What works best for you? Now, before we get started with that, let's take care of some administrative items. First of all, guys, if you are looking to buy or sell a home, my number is going to pop up on the screen somewhere here. Love the opportunity to talk with you. Also, if you are somebody who loves to keep track of the real estate market, guys, look around my screen again here. Subscribe to our channel. And finally, comment below. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you have any questions or so. So let's have the first chart pop up here, and we're going to look at return on investments. Now, guys, what we're doing is we're really looking at what's best for you, renting or buying a place. And so let's take a look. We're going to compare a couple cities across Contra Costa County or the East Bay here. Now, we're selecting these cities because they go across Contra Costa County, and they are similar counties. They're similar. The cities are similar. The financing that's going to be used in the city, it's easy to compare it side by side. Some of the more luxury city prices go up, and what ends up happening is we have to use a different type of financing, so it's harder to compare them side by side. Now, we're looking at, in this first column here, we're looking at 3-bedroom, 2-bath. This is the average price in 2020 in each of these cities for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So we're going to use that as our purchase price. Now, one of the things we've got to do is that initial investment, our down payment, our closing costs. That's like putting the deposit on in our savings account, and we're now going to earn interest on that, or putting our deposit into a CD, and we're now going to earn interest. This is our initial investment. So this is money out of our pockets, and we want to think about the return on investment on that money. So in this case, we're putting about $61,000 to buy a home in the city of Richmond, or $65,000 in the city of Concord, or $47,000 in city of Antioch. And we want to project forward what the value of that asset is going to be. So we're looking at, in 20 years, the asset in the city of Richmond, that 3-bedroom, 2-baths can be worth about a little under $1.4 million. Now, we derived that number by looking at what the value was in 2004 and what's happened in the last 20 years, and we projected that forward. So we come up with it being just about almost $1.4 million. In the city of Concord, just a little over $1.4 million, and in the city of Antioch, about $339,000. And so the initial price of that asset was $775,000. So what we end up with, our gain is $616,000. That's about a 12.2% return on investment in the city of Richmond. In Concord, it's about $605,000. So that's the cash we have now because we invested in that asset. And our initial investment was only about $61,000. And they're different in each case here in each city, but initial investment's minimal compared to what the return is 20 years from now. So if we compare return on investment, we're talking $616,000 or 12% annually in the city of Richmond. If we were to rent, we're actually paying out. So 20 years from now, we're not going to have any type of return on investment or rental. So that's a really strong argument for owning a home where you're getting a return on investment versus renting. Now let's take a look on a monthly basis. Let's take a look what the cost is. We're looking at the second slide. We're looking at those same cities. What's the cost of renting in those cities? We're looking at about $3,000 in each of those cities. Concord's a little more at $3,400, and it's still that 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. Now, when we start looking at our monthly payments, we're looking at $6,200 in Richmond, $6,500 in Concord, $4,700 in Antioch. Now, this our monthly payments, this is going to assume that we're doing a 5% down, so it's about 95% loan. We're going to have this payment to $6,200 includes property taxes, it includes insurance, and it includes mortgage insurance. So we're looking at everything built in there. Now, one of the things we're going to see, and we're assuming a fixed rate of a little over 7%, what it is right now, and we're assuming a 30-year loan, and that's how we're coming up with this $6,200. Now, one of the things that we've got some tax write-offs and so forth that we got to include in there, and we're subtracting that out, and when we rent the property, we end up with a savings that's about $2,000 in Richmond and Concord. Concord, and in Antioch it's about $912. That's the monthly savings. So we've got to really compare now. We look in long term with return on investment. We're looking at $616,000 when we talk return on investment, but monthly basis, we're saving about $2,000 by renting. So we got to compare the two here. So let's look at some numbers going in the future. The first thing we want to do is look at equity in a home. So when we're calculating equity, we're looking at the home value. So in this case, in this slide, this third slide we got up here, the home value is $215,000. The loans we have on the home is about $50,000. And this means that we've got about $200,000 worth of equity, and this is the unencumbered part of that home. It's about $200,000, and this adds to your total asset and adds to your net worth. Now let's continue and let's look a little deeper into the actual equity. In this scenario, this next slide, we're looking at, again, those same homes. We're looking at a purchase price of about $770,000. Now, we got a loan. Remember, we said we got 95% loans. We're talking 5% down. Now, we're looking at paying off that loan. 10 years from now, that loan is going to be 10 years from now, that loan in Richmond is going to be about $633,000. If you look in the green area equity, we've got about $141,000 worth of equity in this home. If we were to pay it off, continue to pay off that loan, remember each month, every time we make a payment, that loan gets smaller, smaller, smaller. And if the price of the home doesn't go up, if it actually stays the same, if it stays $775,000, the value of that home does not go up, we're paying that loan down, we're building money, we're building equity. And that's what we're showing right here is in 10 years, even if the value of the home doesn't go up, we're still going to have $141,000 in equity. In 20 years, we're going to have $350,000 in that home in Richmond. In Concord, in 10 years, we're going to have $149,000 in equity, and in 20 years, we're going to have $368,000 in equity. And that's just by paying down our mortgage. This is not any appreciation in the property value. Now, let's take a look on when we do have appreciation in property values. Again, remember, we looked at what, we projected out what the home would be worth in about 20 years. Now, we're doing that by looking at where it came from. So how much did homes increase? Now, we're used to seeing prices spike, a year, they go up 20% or they drop. 2008, we had prices dropping 40, 50, 60% in some cities. And then shortly after that, in 2012, 2013, prices jumping up 20, 30%. So we're used to these huge spikes, but if we take a look at it over a long-term period of time, prices in the city of Richmond has only gone up annually about 2.9% annually. City of Concord, on average, it's only gone up 2.81% annually, and city of Antioch, it went up 2.37%. So we're looking at relatively modest increase over year by year. So when we project it out on this third slide, we look in the orange area, we see that in 2020 or 2034, this home is going to be worth about a little over $1 million, and 20 years out, it's going to be worth almost $400,000 in the city of Richmond. Now, what is our equity at that point in time? Because remember, we're still now we've got home appreciation and we're appreciating, and we've also got, we're paying down that mortgage is getting small. So we're looking at equity, and in 10 years, equity is going to be about $400,000 in that home in Richmond, and then equity in 20 years is going to be almost $1 million. Same thing in Concord, about $409,000 in 10 years, and equity projected out 20 years is going to be about $973,000. Now, we're talking equity and so forth. If we start comparing it to rental, there's no return on investment in a rental. There's no equity you're building in a rental. But there is one thing that we are having in a rental is that we're saving money on a monthly basis. And let's take a look at that. Let's compare that here in this next slide. This next slide, we're doing the same thing. We're looking at projected out 20 years. Now, what we're doing in this case, if you look in the first columns, we're looking at what in 10 years, but that savings. Now, that savings is about $2,000 a month by renting. Now, one of the things that happens, remember, rental can go up. So we're looking at $2,000 a month. We're assuming that that rental that we're getting today at $3,000 is going to is going to stay the same. It's not going to go up and diminish our savings. We're looking at about $2,000 a month in savings. We're assuming that that savings is going to stay the same. So 10 years from now, because we've saved $2,000 a month by renting, that's actually going to be about $246,000. In 20 years, it's going to be about $452,000 in the city of Richmond. Now, if we compare that, first of all, remember the first slide, we talk about a return on investment. So our ROI, return on investment in 10 years on a property by investing at $61,000 is $261,000. Or $259,000. I should be putting on my glasses with this. So it's about $259,000. So it is more than the savings we would have gotten for that $2,000 a month by renting. Also, in 20 years, our return on investment $661,000 compared to $452,000 if we're renting. That savings. If we were to consider that savings for 20 years, it equals about $452,000. Where with our return on investment for a purchasing home, it's about $661,000. Now, if we compare that to equity in the home, where we're considering the appreciation of the home and also paying down that mortgage, okay, as we pay it every month, it gets smaller and smaller. We've got equity built in the home in 10 years of about $400,000. We got equity in 20 years of almost $1 million. So we see that really kind of outweighs the savings. Now, one thing, guys, the one thing that's really kind of is the winner here is if you're renting and you take that $2,000 per month savings or whatever that savings is, and you invest that savings, you're on a monthly basis, you have the discipline to go ahead and invest that on a monthly basis, you're going to make a lot more money than this, okay? I actually did the numbers and I didn't put it on here, but small cap stocks run about 12%. Historically, the appreciation is about 12% a year. If I take that and I look at that 12% a year and I take into account that you're taking that savings that you're earning by renting a place for $2,000 a month, it's actually going to be about $1.5 million, almost $1.6 million after 20 years. So by renting and investing that savings, that's the big winner right there. But now where a home comes in, buying a home, it creates this automatic savings account for you. You have to put money into it on a monthly basis. You're paying down that interest. So that money is really being saved for you. And as the property values go up, you're building equity in the home. So down the road, when you actually sell that home or you pass it off to whomever, your beneficiaries and so forth, you're sending an asset that has value that's unencumbered by debt or so forth. So that's when we're comparing buying a home to selling. Again, when you're buying a home, you've got a return on investment. You're buying a home, you've got equity. If you're, and I think I said buying home versus selling, buying home versus renting. Again, you've got a return on investment when you own a home. You're building equity in that home when you own it. But if you're renting a home, you've got a monthly savings. And if you want to take that monthly savings and you're able to invest it on a monthly basis, there's a good chance you may be able to even outperform your appreciation here on the home side. So 2 things to consider. So guys, again, any questions or so, reach out to me, comment below, let us know how we're doing. Also, if you're buying or selling a home, please reach out to us. Love the opportunity to talk with you. And finally, guys, subscribe to our channel if you're somebody who keeps updated regarding the real estate market. Hey, thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Take care now. Bye-bye.